Man, I feel good. I feel great. I feel absolutely wonderful, man. Greetings to the Facebook fam, the YouTube listeners, to my people on social media. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your main man, Andy Brown, your life coach, your host, the author and award-winning stage play producer. About to give y'all another episode of Good Game in the building. Definitely want to send some wonderful shout outs to all the people who cook food in real pots and pans and serve that shit on paper plates. I don't know why we do that. I can't say it's a habit of being lazy, but it's just people just don't do it. Like we tap out at the end point. But definitely want to say welcome, man. This is going to be another wonderful broadcast. Shout out to my main man, Tim Cullen out there in California, doing your thing. What's up, Tim? How you feeling? I want to hear from y'all, man. Please like the page, like the comments, show some love. Hit the Facebook, hit the YouTube, subscribe to the channel, which is iLife Radio. Independent listening is for everyone radio. The Cash App is available. Tap that thing on and put some dollars and digits up in there because we're going to continue to have fun, man. Today's show is going to be another wonderful, wonderful broadcast. It's because of you, the callers, the listeners, the texters, the bloggers. You make the show what it is, and tonight will be no different. I'm excited. If you paid attention to last week's broadcast and got that good live, we had a wonderful discussion wrapping that thing around Dr. Bill Cosby, Independence Day, and how the Independence Day weekend of America affects us. I hope you all had those discussions with your family and your friends and were able to come to some type of understanding about who we are we free, and things of that nature. We have the freedom of speech, and we're going to continue that freedom of speech to discussing on some things right now. Going to be joined by a wonderful guest who's going to chime in momentarily. And as we continue to grow the show, grow the platform, just letting you all know, man, how you all can continue to be a part of what we're doing. And continue the reach, continue the growth. This is what it is. I'm enjoying the topic. I'm enjoying the love, man. And I'm excited. I really am excited. I want to say thank you all for the continued listenership. We started from a little anthill, kind of moved into the studio realm and the blog talk and did some things in the DFW area. Now we're taking it to a different platform and continue to support the movement of what is going on because that's right, you and me need a platform to come together and talk about things. So this is going to be our realm. This is going to be our atmosphere. And shit, man, I'm just excited. So go ahead and put you don't have to put your kids to bed tonight. You might need to have your children around because we're going to be discussing some topics that wrap around our children. I think this topic was very important to discuss tonight because our guest is going to be interacting and giving us some good flavor, some good insight. If you're not familiar with Dr. Umar Johnson on multiple levels, the brother comes with some real hardcore, direct slap you directly in the mouth commentary. He's been on multiple platforms all around the world. And he reached out to me and said, hey, B, I'll be in town in the DFW. So I wanted to come on your show and talk about some things. So, yeah, I couldn't say no to that. After the wonderful discussions we had last week, let's just keep the fire going and keep rolling down the brick to success. Yeah, so I want to get in. I want to give people time to come on into the show, go ahead and share this information, tag some of your friends, give some insight, get your questions ready, and be prepared for some of the discussion that we are about to have. So just let you know, man, I'm feeling good. The NBA finals are happening right now. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Phoenix Suns. If you are a fan of either one of those teams, you're lying to yourself. There's no such thing as a Milwaukee Bucks fan unless you're actually in the Milwaukee. I don't even know if the Phoenix Suns are going to win, if the Bucks are going to win, but I do know this, and I can tell you this. The winner, the main winner in all of the NBA finals is definitely going to be, without a doubt, the chicken sandwich. They know who their audience is. They know what's going on. They know what's happening. And I think this is going to be very good. So I think the brother's going to give us a call. He's going to chime in. He's going to call into the show, give us some insight on the phone line I have with me right now. The man of the hour that's going to give us some wonderful games, some wonderful insight, chiming in via phone. I hope he can join us on video as well. But let's just bring on the man of the hour. Let's bring on, folks, you know him, the world's most profound and intricate speaker to our generation. You've seen him on The Breakfast Club. You've seen him on Roland Martin, Hidden Colors, different YouTube and diverse platforms. And he's reached out once again to be here on the Online Happy Hour. Not the first, not the second, but this is his third time. The well-renowned speaker, teacher, author, businessman, and doctor of clinical psychology and certified school psychologist. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone line with me now is Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Dr. Johnson, how you doing?
Peace and Black Power, brother. Thanks for having me with you. I'm so glad that you were able to accommodate me by calling, Brother Andy, because I tried logging in, and I don't have a YouTube page,
okay,
but I do have a Facebook page, and I forgot the password because I haven't logged in on Facebook in years. Because you stay continuously logged in on your phone.
Right.
So I tried several passwords, brother, and they blocked me and said you tried too many passwords. So they locked me out. I said, oh, man, let me call Brother Andy and see what we can do. I can't get in.
It's all good.
So I'm glad that I can join in by phone. But I tried to do the video, but I cannot remember my Facebook password, good brother. So my apologies for that, but I'm glad to be back with you on your broadcast.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to you for making time. I know you are going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but you're also going to be in Houston. For those who are chiming in and do not know who Dr. Umar is, I don't think y'all watch the right programs, kind of get away from the TikTok a little bit. But let's chime in and talk about that, Doc. How did you actually become, and you've had this question asked before, but what is a truly clinical child psychologist? What is that exactly?
Okay, great question. First, let me just say to the people who may be chiming in for the first time and don't know who I am, as Brother Andy already said so eloquently, I'm a doctor of clinical psychology, certified school psychologist, certified school principal, former minister of education for the Honorable Marcus Garvey's UNIAACL, the largest Black organization in modern history. I am also author of Psychoacademic Holocaust, Special Education, and ADHD Wars Against Black Boys, in the new book that I'll be releasing in Dallas this Sunday, July 11th, at the Aldiza Caribbean Restaurant, which I believe is 7879 Spring Valley Road, from 2 until 8. Free event. Come out, bring the children. You don't have to register. You don't need tickets. It's free. I'll be speaking from 2 until 4. Also taking questions and answers between 2 and 4. And then from 4 to 8, it's the book signing. So anybody can drop in between 4 and 8, get a book, take a picture, ask me a question. It's also a special ed clinic book, Brother Andy. And what that means is parents who have issues with their children, if they need me to take a look at the paperwork, take a quick peek at the IEP, browse through the psychological evaluation, they can do that as well and get free answers to their questions. It's not about capitalism. It's about activism. It's not about the hustle. It's about the struggle. Mm-hmm. And so that new book, Black Parent Advocate, The Art of Warfare Dealing with America's Public and Charter Schools, is a 550-page plus encyclopedia for Black parents that teaches them how to respond to the school system. Going to your question, Brother Andy, what exactly is a clinical psychologist versus the school psychologist? The school psychologist is a psychologist of schooling. So their job is to identify children, or should I say our job is to identify children who have learning disabilities. We are the gatekeepers of special education. The school psychologist determines who has the learning disability. And as part of the evaluation team, we determine who qualifies for special education because of that learning disability. If a child is being evaluated for a learning disability, that evaluation it absolutely must by law include a certified school psychologist. On the clinical side, we evaluate for mental illness. So the school psychologist only evaluates for learning problems, only learning. If it doesn't affect learning, the school psychologist has nothing to do with it. In the reverse, Brother Andy, the clinical psychologist focuses on everything else. Schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline, suicide, low self-esteem, anxiety disorders, depression, the psychotic episodes. So the clinical psychologist focuses on mental illness and how it affects functioning in life. The school psychologist focuses on learning disabilities and how it affects academic progress in school.
Wow. Okay. And I think we need to hear that, man. This is really good information to have. I hope you got the text message that I sent you.
Let me see, brother. I just came back from Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy email, the books. Oh, I got you for the books. You want to come get them that day, or how you want to do that?
I want to do a little bit of both, if you don't mind. What I want to do for the listeners who are here, if you go ahead and we get some call and get some feedback, some of the questions that we hear, definitely want to reach out to give one of the callers an opportunity to get a book, and I'll purchase it and go ahead and mail it out to you, or we can do whatever's the case may be. But I just believe that somebody should get something in hands because they may not know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
They may be able to, and I definitely want to support what you're doing and how you're getting that done. So I'll definitely be in attendance on Sunday. Here's what I wanted to ask you as well. This question actually came up. You do have several books. You mentioned that. I'm going to come back to the academic Holocaust because that's one of my favorites. What brought the need or the desire to write this particular one, The Black Parent Advocate?
Two things. Great question, by the way. Another great question. Two things, Brother Andy. Number one, as you know, we were raising money to build the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, a campaign that began in St. Louis with the collection of the first donation in St. Louis, Missouri, spring of 2014. We were trying to get to St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia. We were unsuccessful. Instead, it was sold to the Chinese, which I think is an embarrassment to Black people that we let a campus built by ancestors coming out of slavery get sold to another race. But nonetheless, after we lost the bid for St. Paul's, we just started looking nationally for a school so we could just simply get started. The goal is still to have a residential academy, but in the meantime, we need an academy, period. And so we lucked up 1 week before Frederick Douglass's 201st birthday. We purchased what was formerly the Moyer Academy Charter School of Wilmington, Delaware, which is now the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Independent Academy. And it's 4 buildings, 2 schools, 2 gyms. To make a long story short, now that we have the school, Brother Andy, I will not be as available as I have been these first 20 years of my career as a certified school psychologist, assisting parents. Because once we open up the doors on that school, I am all about the business of making sure we promise parents exactly what we have advertised and promoted these past 7 years. So we're still about a year away from the school. We're renovating now. God willing, those renovations will be done in the Garvey building by the end of this calendar year. And if we are successful with the renovations by the end of the calendar year, we're looking to start school next summer. And that means Dr. Umar won't be traveling as much, and it also means I won't be available as much for parents who need help. So this book is also motivated by a need to leave parents with something tangible, Brother Andy, that they can refer to when they have issues involving their children. So if I can't reach Dr. Umar, I can open up Black Parent Advocate. The school wants me to get him evaluated for ADHD. I don't want to. Let me see how Dr. Umar says I need to respond. The school says he can't come back without medication. Let me see what Dr. Umar says about that. Well, Dr. Umar says here it's illegal. A school cannot deny a child their education because the parent refuses medication. Let's say you think your child has a speech and language problem and you've been asking the school for an eval and they have refused your request. What does Dr. Umar say about that? Well, it won't accede to your request for an eval. You take them the due process and you force that eval. This book is all about solutions. The first book had a lot of solutions as well, Brother Andy, but it also had the responsibility of teaching parents how the psychoacademic Holocaust operates. So the first book was more of a tour through the system with some strategies and techniques on how to fight the system. This book is all about the strategies and the techniques. So this is if the first book was a tour de force of the psychoacademic Holocaust, this book is a war guide on how to reverse it.
Good stuff. This is the Online Happy Hour with your main man, Andy Brown. I'm joined with Dr. Umar Johnson, giving us some good game, man. He's going to be in the DF Dub and also going to Houston, Texas this weekend as well. He mentioned a book earlier, folks, and if you have not had a chance to put your eyes on that, The Psychoacademic Holocaust, that is one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you why. Because there is one of the most intriguing chapters that was eye-awakening for me. When you discussed about the classroom behavior, and I'm going to go there, folks. If you're timid about topics, this might not be the show for you. Let me go ahead and go there. There's a topic that you mentioned in this book, because I think this carries over into what you're doing now. When you talked about the relevance of white women teaching young black men in the classroom, and the mental stimulation of how that looks upon, because I myself never had a black teacher until I went to college at Grambling State University. That's 18, 19 years of my life where I never saw a black person lead me in the classroom. So in your book, you talked about how, black men have looking to white women for a period of leadership. And I think I'm paraphrasing this altogether. But it also gives that white woman a look of authority over black men. And I know I'm not saying it correctly, but that's what I gather from the reading. And based on what we're talking about here, that's in the classroom. So when we come home back to our parents, there's a whole different mindset of how we look at mom, how we look at dad, and how we look at the person that's giving us education. That's intense.
That's very true, Brother Andy. That's very true. And that white woman in the classroom with the black boy, she is the foundational problem. Because you can fix everything else in the school, Brother Andy. Change the curriculum, build a new building, put more money in the schools, have more programs, involve the parents, as long as the education of black children is conducted through the middle class white racist female, the schools will never work. And one of the biggest problems I have whenever we have conversations on the miseducation of our children is when these narratives are put out by the media or the government or professional educational associations, be they black or white. The black ones are scared of the white ones. When these conversations are had, the white woman is never included as a problem. She's never listed. They talk about poverty. They're talking about fatherlessness, mass incarceration, poor mother, single mother, gangster rap, basketball, sagging pants, black on black crime. These are contributing factors. They are not causes. The cause of the miseducation is the fact that the schools were designed to fail the black children. And in order to protect the privilege of the white kids, you got to make sure the black kids fail. And it is the white woman's job to make sure those black children are unable to compete with their own white children.
Wow. I don't know if anybody has heard it that way or has seen it that way, or even if this makes sense to those who are listening right now for the very first time. I'm going to open up the phone lines and talk a little bit about this discussion. I heard somebody make some comments. I got some wows. I got some likes. I said, man, y'all are teaching tonight. This is deep. I told you to go ahead and strap in, man. Go ahead and look at your children a little bit differently tonight as you have this discussion and be real with it. We're talking to Dr. Umar Johnson right here on this wonderful topic. Who raised you? why your children don't trust your parenting. And here's something that I want to ask. A lot of questions that came into me because they knew you were going to be on. A colleague had asked the question, Dr. Umar, maybe you can expand on this. How does the impact of a single parent have an effect on boys and girls growing up, as opposed to maybe both parents in the household?
Well, I have two answers to that question.
All
Number
right.
one, we have to recognize that God made a mother and a father for a reason. And the man is the manifestation of divine masculine energy in human form. And our sisters are the manifestation of divine feminine power in female form. And so in order for a child to be balanced emotionally, psychologically, socially, they have to get enough masculine nurturance and enough feminine nurturance. When you have a single parent household, you have the absence of one of those mandatory divine influences upon a child. And so when the father's not there and it's only the mother, the boy can end up with a little bit too much masculine energy in his life. And the woman could also end up with an imbalance because she has not yet been validated by her father. See, the mother teaches the girl how to be a woman, but it is the father that validates her womanhood, you see. And so our boys and our girls need both the man and the woman. And of course, we get into these ridiculous Eurocentric arguments over who's more important, the mother or the father. The answer is they both are. Yeah. They both are. You know, psychologically speaking, I don't care who you are. If you were only raised with one parent, you can best believe that you are out of balance, or you were as a child, because you could have corrected it by now. But as a child, you were out of balance in some area related to the responsibilities that the absentee parent would have had towards your psychosocial development. So when you hear Black people say, my mother raised me, I didn't have my dad, I came out fine. You came out fine, yes. But there were still some things that were not done right because they can only be done by your father. There were still some things that were not done right because they can only be done by your mother. And unfortunately, because of the feminist campaign that is alive and well in the Black community, and then you also have this anti-woman campaign a lot of Black men are pushing now, we're not looking at the ascent. The father, I'm the mother, and the father got fathers running around. If women are too toxic, my daughter and son only needs me. That's so European. It's not African. Our entire existence as a race is based on the principle of complementarity. God made everything in balance and everything in polarity. So for cold, there's hot. For sun, there's moon. For land, there's water. For negative, there's positive. For man, there's woman. And a child needs both. And if you don't have that other parent in the home, then you simply have to provide your son with some masculine energy through some of the brothers in the neighborhood, and provide your daughter with some feminine energy through some of the sisters in the neighborhood. So there's still ways of getting those needs met so our children don't come out deficient. But I would argue, Brother Andy, that one of the biggest reasons why we can't get along as a people, one of the biggest reasons why we have this Black male-female relationship situation is because so many Black children have not been raised in healthy, balanced families.
Oh, I hope y'all are hearing this. Hey, man, I don't understand why people are not making time to get some good insight, get some good game. You're going to be entertained on some platforms, but you need to be educated and get real tonight. Dr. Umar Johnson is on the phone with us, and I have a caller who wants to chime in and ask a question, and maybe this is something that you can probably answer far better than I can. Miss Butler is on the line and wants to give some insight. Miss Butler, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good, good. Dr. Umar Johnson, Miss Butler's on the line, and please say hello to Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Johnson, how are you?
Peace and love, sister.
I'm going to sip on a drink and have Miss Butler ask a question that probably is on her mind. Your comments on today's discussion?
So I do believe that I probably missed some really great details as I was calling in, but I believe I got what I needed. But the concern I have is I am a single mother of a 21-year-old male, and it's been predominantly me most of his life, and his father passed probably about 3 years ago. But when I try to get my father or my brother to chime in and assist with some things in the direction, he's going in the wrong direction, then their first thing that they say, he is too sensitive. But he's been reared by me. So my thoughts is I'm a woman and I'm very sensitive. I don't know any other way that I could have reared him that he wouldn't be sensitive.
Interesting.
So you're speaking of the phenomenon that I just addressed, good sister. So your comment is very timely. You raised your son, and I'm sure you did an excellent job. But because the father was not there, he may have picked up a little bit more of the feminine than the masculine because the masculine was absent. And by the uncle and the cousins and the grandfather not chiming in, they did not balance out your feminine with that divine masculine. So they are as much to blame as you, because unlike sisters who don't go to the men in their family to help with the raising of their sons, you actually did that. And I commend you for doing that. You see, so they were actually at fault for not stepping in. And that is a big problem we have in the Black community when men don't want to step in. And some of us, not to say that this is the case with your relatives, but some of us are afraid of turning off the young man. We would rather be liked by the young man than be disliked and help him become the man he needs to be. I've seen a lot of Black men chime away from helping mothers because they value the relationship with the Black boy as opposed to valuing the life and future of the Black boy. And we have to get out of that. I've seen a lot of Black men turn into cowards, not because they're scared of the young man, but they just don't want to rock the boat. I have a good relationship with him, and I don't want to mess that up. But what about the fact he's not getting what he needs to get? And it is your responsibility as a man in this community to help him get it. See, the number one responsibility of a parent, and I would also say the number one responsibility of a community, is to teach our children discipline. And it's not an easy job for women to do that with boys. And I would argue it shouldn't be their job to do it with boys. And because they have to do it, given the war against Black men, other Black men should be stepping up and stepping to the plate to help our sisters with the rearing of their sons. Now, your son is 21. He has his whole life in front of him. He has more than enough time to meet the type of brothers who can really pour into him the type of masculine validation, that he needs and guidance and example that he needs. So I'm optimistic about that. I'm hoping that uncle and grandfather will step to the plate as needed. But if they don't, we just have to help that brother find some other men who can help him do that. And one of the things we will be doing at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy in Wilmington, Delaware, which is only 22 minutes from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania International Airport, we will be having those manhood training programs, manhood retreats, manhood roundtables, manhood think tanks. So your son will be more than welcome to come to us, even if it's only 2, 3, 4 times a year. We're going to be having programs for women, programs for men, programs for youth, for children, for elders, for ex-offenders, for everybody. Although the school will be a school by day, it will be a Black university by night. And so, if he doesn't find it sooner, he'll definitely be able to get it at our school.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Good stuff. Ms. Butler, stick around because I would love for you to maybe just kind of understand this. My Bible readers out there, there's a passage in the book of Proverbs. It says, in everything that you get understanding. Get some of this good game, get some of this understanding tonight. We're talking about who raised you, why your children don't trust your parenting, with Dr. Umar Johnson online. He's going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this coming Sunday. Please check him out. Follow the information that's on the page. Follow the information that's on the feed. We're going to dive off into this a little bit more deeply, but I want to stay right here a little bit because one of the questions that somebody had asked about single mothers raising men, I'm going to go there. The question happened to be, does that help turn men into mama's boys?
It can, if the mother doesn't teach responsibility. As I was saying earlier, the number one job of a parent is to teach responsibility, especially for Black children. Especially if a Black boy leaves your house and he does not have self-control, he does not have self-discipline, he does not know what responsibility is, he does not know what it means to delay gratification, this white racist world will tear his ass up. And that's why you see so many boys being expelled from school, going into prison. Of course, a lot of this is systemic, so it's not totally due to personalities or character deficiencies, but a great deal of it is. And unfortunately, because so many of our boys are being raised by women, and this is not a fault of the woman, I want to be clear. It's not that she's doing something wrong. It's that the community is doing something wrong. And that is they are not providing the masculine balance for the feminine nurturance that our mothers are giving our boys. So yeah, he is likely to be a little bit more emotional. You know, he is likely to be a little bit more, you know, quote unquote catty, if you would, because he's being raised by his mother. I don't think that that becomes a trigger for homosexual behavior, if that's what the question is. But I will say this: if the mother is particularly verbally abusive her son and might rather choose to spend his life with a man to get that masculine love and validation that he never got as a child. Viewed from a certain lens, for some gay black men, not all, homosexuality is a desperate attempt to reclaim the masculine energy, attention, and validation that you should have gotten from your absentee father.
Huh. Yeah,
Wow.
right? Both of us. That is the strongest word I could put together on that, because that is something that we, as a straight black man, I don't see that. I have no idea where that comes from, but I'm glad that there's clarity on that. Somebody actually made the comment and said, you know, I really thought this guy would have your viewers number skyrocket. I mean, it did Breakfast Club multiple times. Yeah, it is the truth, man. I'm going to tell you why what's going on. We have people calling in from multiple platforms. So while you may see one platform, it may be higher numbers on another. It's just the way that the platform is. Somebody actually said, and some mothers don't want that man's help. They say that that's my son. You can't tell me how to raise my child. Oh.
Well, that's the problem in the black community, period, Brother Andy, where we have developed this European psychopathological individualism where we believe we own our children. Mm-hmm. We believe they belong to us. We believe that how we raise them does not impact the community, and we think nobody in the community can say anything to us about our children. Well, first of all, let us get back to our culture. Mm-hmm. Children do not belong to parents. They belong to communities. I'm going to say it again. From an African cultural perspective, children do not belong to parents. They belong to communities. And because they belong to communities, the community can take the child away from the parent if the parent is not doing a good job. Wow. That's how we function as African people. With that being said, we need parents to understand the philosophy behind the concept that children belong to communities, not parents. If you are not raising your daughter the right way, she may destroy my son's life. If I'm not raising my son the right way, he may destroy your daughter's life. Wow. That's why there's no such thing as privacy when it comes to the raising of black children. See, the fact that we've been raising our children as our exclusive property for the past 50 years, Brother Andy, that's why you see this black on black crime. That's why you see this mass incarceration. That's why you see this unemployment. All these kids out here killing each other, selling the dope, running the rackets, breaking the law, getting all these sisters pregnant, beating them up, sisters doing what they doing to the brothers. It's because they were raised by parents who said, what I do with my child is nobody else's business. But you notice how, as soon as they become 18, it becomes everybody's business. Once they become 18 and they start robbing and shooting and killing, now everybody's worried about that child who once upon a time was nobody's business but the parent. We need to get out of that. The children are all of our business, because what you do in your house can affect the future of this community. That's why there's an African proverb that says the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people.
Good insight, man. Are y'all getting this tonight? Show some likes, man. Hit some love. This is real talk, man. I'm feeling it. Dr. Umar Johnson is on with us right now. Miss Butler, are you still there with us?
I'm still here.
I definitely want to reach out to you and say thank you for chiming in and giving us a call. Dr. Umar's book, Black Parent Advocate, I definitely want to bless you and make sure that you get a copy of that. Read that for yourself. That's on me for making time to be a part of what we're doing tonight. If you can stick around, please do. But I definitely want to, continue the topic and the subject matter of what's going on. We're talking about who raised you, why your children don't trust your parenting, with the one and only Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, on the line with us. Doc, you feeling good tonight?
I'm feeling good, Brother Andy. Feeling good. Looking forward to getting on down there to Texas. It's been 3.5 years since I've been to Houston, and it's been 2.5 years since I've been to Dallas, and it's been 6 years since I've been to Austin, where I will be on Sunday, the 25th of this month. So Saturday, July 10th, I'm at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, 5309 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Houston from 2 to 8. And then Sunday, I'm at Aldee's, Aldeez, Aldee's, a Caribbean restaurant in Dallas, 7879 Spring Valley Road. Both programs 2 to 8. Both programs are free. No tickets or registration needed. Both programs will have the lecture and Q&A from 2 to 4 and the book signing from 4 to 8. It's also special ed clinic. Parents in Texas, if you need Dr. Umar's help, this is your time. Brother Andy, I get so upset with our parents sometimes when they say, I needed some help and I didn't know who to talk to. First of all, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, I am a very humble brother. If you're raising Black children in America, how the hell you don't know who Dr. Umar is? And the reason I'm saying that, Brother Andy, not from a place of arrogance, but I'm the only psychologist who does this. There's no other psychologist going around teaching parents how to fight back. There's no other psychologists write these types of books teaching them how to beat the system. I am the only one that I know of. And it could be somebody hot in the cut somewhere who I haven't met, but with mainstream notoriety, I'm the only one. So how do you not know who I am? And how do you not know when I come to your city? There's a lot of states, there's a lot of cities, there's a lot of countries, there's a lot of continents. And of course, as a Pan-Africanist, I travel to a lot of them. I've been to every one except Australia. So I don't get a chance to come around as much. 3.5 years, 2.5 years, 6 years, you might not see me for another couple years, especially with the school coming. So please, parents, take advantage of this. Come out and hear my message. Come out and get the book. Come out, bring your paperwork if you have any questions. And it's totally free, Brother Andy. Totally free. So there's absolutely no excuses whatsoever.
None whatsoever, folks. Put some gas in your car. Y'all still going out.
I'm going to come check you out on Sunday.
Thank you, my sister.
Yeah.
And bring some more mothers with you. Bring some more mothers, bring some fathers, bring some big brothers and big sisters who are raising their little brothers and sisters. Bring parent advocates, bring the pastors, bring everybody, because the education of our children and the mental health of our children, it should be everybody's responsibility. And there's nothing that's more disrespectful and disgraceful, Brother Andy, than when I am at an event or somebody meets me somewhere and I say I'm speaking or my book is coming out and they'll say something like this: all of my children are grown. I'm done raising kids. It's one of the most selfish things you can say, because what it says is I don't give a damn about what's happening to the other kids in the neighborhood until they break in my house, until they shoot my grandson, until they steal my car. Then you're concerned about them. If we were concerned about our babies when they were children, as opposed to being concerned about their criminal behavior when they become adults, maybe they would have never become criminals in the first place. I always say that criminals are made, they are not born. And if there's a lot of criminals coming out of the Black community, that means the Black community itself, Brother Andy, is a criminal producing institution.
Woo! This is real. I'm hoping to get some hot. I'm gonna go back to the phone and comments on social media. One question that hit Dr. Umar to you: do you think that the escalation of violence that is occurring in our communities affiliate with the parent-child relationships?
Of course. I was told by one of my Jewish professors at the Philadelphia College for Osteopathic Medicine, where I earned my doctorate, in clinical psychology several years ago, and he said, this is a white man, he said himself that he would attribute about 20% of the violence in our communities and in our societies to the after effects of the psychiatric medication that children have been taking. I want you to think about that for a minute. All this ADHD medicine, Ritalin medicine, all this other medicine, he said a lot of this might be due to the side effects of the drugs. So add to that list the fatherlessness, the motherlessness, the sex abuse, the emotional abuse, the psychological abuse, the economic oppression, the political oppression. Black people are killing each other because they don't know what else to do with their pain.
I see that. I see that. People are lashing out, and it's that if you look at me, you may see the pain that's really going on inside of me. I don't know how to deal with that.
There's a movie out right now, Brother Andy, called The Forever Purge. Me and my mother just went to go see it the night before last. And, of course, there were other purges. And what is the central idea of the purge? People are so miserable, so angry, so fed up, so tired of not mattering that they want to take out that pain by ending the lives of other people. In other words, Brother Andy, the Black community doesn't have to wait for the U.S. government or the NSSA to declare a purge because we're already purging one another.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are in the midst of a purge right now, and it is a black on black purge. I live in Philadelphia. This has to be the most violent year. This has to have been, and we're only 6 months in. We still got another 6 months to go. This has Philadelphia, and we see the same thing going on in other places, brothers and sisters. And here's the thing, brother.
Hello?
Hey, Andy Brown.
Hey, hold on. I got hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to get okay. Now we good. Now I got it good. I had to kind of clear that line up a little bit. Dr. Umar, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I had another caller that wanted to chime in. This time we're going to hear from the men. Brother Stinson is on the line. What's going on, fam?
Hey, what's going on? What's Andy Brown?
How you doing, man? Welcome back to the Happy Hour. Say hello to Dr. Umar.
Dr. Umar, how you doing, brother? Peace and black power. Hey, I really don't have a question. I really called in to tell you I appreciate everything you do for the people. I really like the way that you stand on truth and you speak it, unapologetically. A lot of things everything you say is pretty much what we need to hear. And I'm very glad that you brought up the meds, the medication situation. I used to actually be a case manager in the juvenile facility. And it seems that every time one of our children basically just has something to say or just won't sit down and roll over and jump when they say meds is the answer for it. So I'm terribly happy that you brought that up. Thank you for that, my brother. Thank you. Of course, we all hope to see you Sunday at Aldi's or Caribbean Restaurant. But let me say this: we will not fix this dysfunctionality of the Black community until we take responsibility for the education of our children. Every time you see a Black child walk into a public school, every time you see a Black child walk into a charter school, every time you see a Black child walk into a Catholic school, a parochial school, an independent school, or a private school that is not owned, operated, and run by Black people with a Black curriculum, that is evidence to you that the Black community is not yet ready to take responsibility for its children. People who are responsible for their children don't send them to enemies to be educated. People who are responsible for their children don't send them knowingly into an institution where they're going to be mistreated, emotionally abused, academically oppressed. okay, and psychologically exploited. And the only reason why Black children are forced to go through this nonsense is because Black people don't care enough. I'm speaking collectively, not as individuals. Black people don't care enough to sacrifice some of that $30 billion a year we spend on hair and beauty, some of that $2 billion a year we spend on Air Jordan, some of that $4 billion a year we spend on liquor, some of that $800 billion a year we spend on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork. Just sacrifice some of those billions of dollars you spend on video gaming. It is amazing that we are literally financing entire communities who don't look like us, but won't spend any of that money on the community that we belong to. We've been putting Chinese kids through college. We've been helping Jewish kids start businesses. We've been helping Chinese and Asian kids do everything they want to do because after all, the video gaming, that is largely an Asian-dominated field. The beauty and hair care is an Asian-dominated field. The automobiles and the banking is a European-dominated field. I mean, there's nothing we give our money to that recycles itself back to the Black community. So you are talking about a self-hate, a self-neglect, and a total absolving oneself of your responsibility towards our children. Black people are absolutely sick. We are a sick-ass people, and until we recognize and see the sickness, we'll never be able to heal from it. That's a word right there, brother. That's a word.
Yeah. Somebody, please share this. I see the loves coming in, the likes are coming in. Don't call me later and ask me why y'all didn't talk about this, because we did. The forum is open, man. This is good. I hope Dr. Umar is enjoying himself today.
Hey, this is what you call soul food right here. This is real soul. This is soul food. Food for the soul. You know, food for the soul, brothers. And let me also say to the brothers and sisters listening in Texas, I want to thank Texas. Not only is Texas one of the biggest states in the union, but for Black people and for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, Texas has been one of our biggest contributor states. So we regularly get donations in the mail from all over Texas, from Longview to San Antonio to Dallas to Houston to Austin. We get donations from all over Texas. So I want to thank your brothers and sisters who have stood by us for these 7 trying years trying to get this school up and running. Thank you, Texas. And I want to invite all my donors and supporters out to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy on September the 11th. We will be having our first annual Unapologetically African Family First Festival right outside in front of the schools. Please come on out. Come see the campus. It's not ready yet, but you can still see it. You can still touch it. You can still see what we have. There will be food, music, performers, games, giveaway. We're going to have face painting for the kids. There will be games for the kids, competitions. We're trying to get the Nat Turner Jean-Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium up and running by then, because I would love to do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for the boys and girls.
Wow.
So please come on out. This is a day that we're going to honor our donors, honor our loyal supporters. I know Texas is a little ways away, but it ain't nothing but a 3-hour flight from Philadelphia. So get on Southwest Airlines, get on Frontier, get on Spirit, get you the cheapest flight you can, and come on up, fly to the Philadelphia International Airport. The school is 22 minutes drive from the Philadelphia International Airport. Delaware is Philadelphia's backyard. You can stay in downtown Wilmington, which is less than a 10 minutes drive from the campus. You can Uber around if you need to. Everything's very close. There's Black-owned restaurants in Delaware. If you want to party in Philadelphia later, you can stay near the Philadelphia Airport. But I want all my donors, all my supporters, I want to meet you. I want to see you. I want to talk to you. Saturday, September the 11th, from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. I want Texas in the house that day.
Texas is definitely going to represent, man. We're going to represent big. The DFW is going to represent. Houston, Texas is going to represent. I know it gets weird in Austin, but I know Austin going to represent. That's the capital, for crying out loud. We're talking about who raised your children. Who raised you, actually? Why your children don't trust you with Dr. Umar Johnson. Men and women are giving up some insight. Speaking of men and women, I definitely want to thank Brother Stinson and Miss Butler for chiming in. Stick around if you can. There was a comment that was addressed. We were talking about this a little bit earlier about women actually developing and learning faster than men. Is that Fact or fiction, Dr. Umar?
I think it's fiction.
Okay.
Because the one thing about research is it's not unanimous. Okay. You'll get a research study this year that say women learn faster than men. Then you'll get one 10 years from now that refutes it totally. At the end of the day, science is only but so scientific because science contradicts itself on a regular basis. The findings do. And the reason why the findings contradict themselves on a regular basis is twofold. Number one, research journals like to only publish research that has positive findings. In other words, if Brother Andy did a research study on black boys with ADHD that showed that the psychiatric medication does nothing over the long haul to benefit their behavior, that study's not going to make it into the journal. But if Dr. Umar comes and says Ritalin significantly reduced classroom misconduct in black boys between 8 and 12, that's going to get published because the journals are biased towards studies that yield a result. There are millions of studies that show the pills they give, the medicine they give, the programs they got in the black community. There's tons of studies that show that stuff that don't work. But guess what? Nobody's publishing the stuff that doesn't show an effect because everybody wants to look like the research that is being done is all proving the pharmaceutical industry right and proving the government right. So the research that proves the government wrong and the research that proves our children should be taking those meds, it'll never see the light of day. And why is that? Because guess who controls the research journals? Guess who finances the research? Guess who funds the researchers? The psychopharmaceutical index. Excuse me, the psychopharmaceutical drug industrial complex, not index, complex. So the point that I'm making, there is no science when science controls who makes money. The people who make the money control the people who make the money control the results that you're allowed to hear about. There is no science in America. When you turn on the news and they say a new study showed blah, 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 you better take it with a grain of salt because there was somebody who paid for that, to show that, to demonstrate that, to publish that, to push that so they can make some money.
Yeah, I can definitely believe that.
Science and capitalism cannot coexist, Brother Andy, because capitalism is about wealth. It is about economic power and domination. It is about the selfish pursuit of control of all resources. That's capitalism. You can't have science and capitalism because guess what? If I'm going to make $1 million off of Ritalin, and psychiatric meds are, a $30 billion industry. But if Dr. Umar stands to make $1 million off this new pill, Brother Andy, do you really think I'm going to let you publish in the Journal of Black Psychologists that this is the worst drug that could ever be given to a black boy? You think I'm going to let you push that? Let's go to autism, Brother Andy. It has already been proven.
Yes, let's do that.
Measles, mumps, and rubella shot is what causes the autism in black boys. That's already been proven. That's been proven. And you know what else has been proven? They already knew that. They already knew that the MMR shot was going to trigger autism in black boys. They knew it. But guess what, Andy? Too much money was going to be made. Too much money was. Who's going to let the health of black boys stand in the way of $1 billion profit? You see, science will always fail you when the scientist is financed by the corporations.
Oh my!
Which brings me to another point, Brother Andy. People often ask me, Dr. Umar, I read your first book. I love it. I agree with psychoacademic Holocaust. Dr. Umar, you have almost no references in the book. Dr. Umar, I love Black Parent Advocate. It's helped my child. But you have no references in the book. The reason I have no references in my book is because I put very little faith in European science. The second reason I have no references in my book is I'm not going to find references to support the conclusions that Dr. Umar is drawing because my conclusions and my premise is too revolutionary to be accepted by mainstream American mental health and education. You'll never find somebody support or underscore or reinforce what Dr. Umar is talking about. And the third reason why you don't have no references in my book is after 20 years plus evaluating children, 20 years plus testing children and completing evaluations and working in the school. I am an expert in my field. Why do I have to find white people whose professional opinions corroborate my own? I'm not going to do that. When we call ourselves Pan-Africanists and Garveyites, and when we say we stand on self-determination and self-reliance, that's exactly what we mean. In other words, Brother Andy, my experience is sufficient enough to testify to the truth in my books. My training, my expertise, my experience is enough to verify the truth that is inside of my books and inside of my lectures. I will never, ever succumb to anybody's pressure who says you got to find white folks to agree with you and include their names in your works. I will never do that. If you don't want to believe that Dr. Umar is telling you the truth, no problem. Keep on walking. And when the white folks screw your kid up, don't come running back to me. The proof of the truth in my books is in the results that come from the hundreds of thousands of black children and their parents who can testify that that truth is real and who can testify that that truth helps save their children.
Ooh. Hey, man, a shift just hit me. Text messages are flooding. I know we got just a few more minutes left. Dr. Umar Johnson is kicking down some game tonight. A couple more questions that we're hearing I want to kind of go to, and the topic of who raised you, why your children don't trust your parenting. A question just came in, Dr. Umar, and I want to ask this to you. How does your book and your teaching affect those of biracial families?
I would argue, why would they need to be singled out?
Okay.
And the reason I'm asking that question, Brother Andy, from a Pan-Africanist perspective, we include, and by we, I mean most of the major founding fathers, not most, all of the founding fathers of Pan-Africanism, and of course the greatest of them all, the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, we have always treated mixed race African children as members of our family, as long as they identify as being African. So my question would be, why do they have to be singled out? Our book is going to benefit a mixed race African child the same way it's going to benefit a full-blooded African child. They are no different than the rest of us. They suffer the same hell, believe it or not. Although there might be a light-skinned privilege in America, and there is, although there might be a green eye or blue eye privilege in America, and there is, when that light-skinned boy walks into that all-white classroom, he's going to catch the same hell as a blue, black, purple chocolate boy. So, you know, we need to understand that mixed race, it'll get you by in some respects. You know, being light skinned, it will benefit you in some respects. But I think I speak for many of our light skinned brothers and sisters who will say that although I have seen my color benefit me, I have also seen where my color has not benefited me. You understand? So for the mixed race child, everything applies just the same. And I know because I just was speaking to a cousin of mine, and my little cousin who is not mixed race, but you might think he is. He's super high yellow with green eyes and straight hair. And that white Catholic school that he goes to is giving him hell because at the end of the day, even though he's light skinned with green eyes and straight hair, he's still an African. See, here's what we need to understand. Eugenics, Brother Andy, is about the extermination of the African genotype, not the phenotype. See, we get caught up in the phenotype. I'm light skinned. I have green eyes. I'm dark skinned. I got nappy hair. The white power structure wants to eliminate African DNA from the planet. That means, although they may use some light-skinned people to help undermine the black community, just like they use some dark-skinned people to help undermine the black community, at the end of the day, Barack Obama got to go too. At the end of the day, Colin Powell got to go too. At the end of the day, Kamala Harris got to go too. You know why? Because as long as you are walking around with the DNA of black Africa in your body, the survival of my white species is in danger.
Oh my. I don't think they understood what was about to happen, and that's okay. The Prince of Pan-Africanism has spoken. He's been on the line. He's been on multiple platforms, and he's here with us on the online happy hour.
We can go 15 more minutes if you like, Brother Andy.
Well, here's one question I want to ask. what can people expect from you? They've seen you on video, they've seen you on YouTube, they've seen you on multiple, on their phone, on their streaming devices. But what's different when they see you live?
I would have to answer that question in third person.
Okay.
From brothers and sisters who have come to see me and have had the Ifa Tunde experience, as we call it. From what I've been told, as much as they enjoy the content on the internet, nothing compares to Dr. Umar live and in person. This is what I've been told. People have said, I enjoy you on the internet, but to hear you and to see you and to feel your energy is a whole nother reality. I have constantly and repeatedly been told that. So I'm hoping brothers and sisters in Dallas come out on Sunday. I'm hoping that brothers and sisters in Houston come out on Saturday at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, because it's nothing like the real thing. And as far as what to expect, it's kind of hard to answer that because I never know what I'm going to say. See, I believe, rightly or wrongly, it is my personal belief that I am a voice for the ancestors. And so before I take the stage, I like to go into my power, meditation, so I can receive whatever message the universe wants to give to me, to give to y'all. And for 15 to 30 minutes before I go on that stage, I don't want nobody around me. I want silence so I can hear. And it's not a verbal message that I get. Spirit speaks through impression. So you feel something, you don't hear something. And it is that message that I give to the people. Sometimes I don't pick up the message. Most of the time I do. And whenever I do, those end up being some of the greatest speeches that I ever gave. So sometimes when I speak at the colleges, they're very afraid because they're like, Dr. Umar, we've heard your opinions on this and your opinions on that, and we're not sure if our university is the setting for that, so could you give us an outline? And what I tell them is, I can promise you I'm not going to address LGBTQ. I can promise you I'm not going to say anything disrespectful to white folks, because I don't normally do that anyway. But I can promise you what I'm not going to talk about. But I can't tell you what I'm going to talk about, because that doesn't come from me. That comes from my ancestors. Every lecture has some of the same elements, because every parent needs to hear those core principles. But the rest of the message is whatever the ancestors want to give me. If they want me to talk about the black family, if they want me to talk about the political situation, if they want me to talk about the anti-Asian hate thing taking precedence over anti-black hate, which has been going on for 400 years. If they want me to talk about the self-hate or Pan-Africanism, repatriation, or the fact that, in the state of Texas and other states, they're passing laws to stop teaching slavery and to stop teaching about racism in the schools, while they are totally pushing LGBTQ studies in our children's face every single day. Even children who are not even old enough to even know what sex is. It's just going to come from the heart and from the soul. So it's from the universe, but it's also influenced by the people in the audience. My audience talks to me non-verbally. I can feel what the audience needs. So I can feel I need to talk about relationships today. I can feel I need to talk about parenting skills. I can feel I need to talk about the black economy. So the message comes from the universe, but it is also somewhat influenced by the energy in the audience.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I hope y'all get some of this, man, whether you are in the DF-Dub, whether you're in Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, the Philadelphia.
Andy, let me say this, please. So we don't forget, our brothers and sisters who want to support the school, please get on your Cash App, donate to $FDMG School. I repeat, donate to $FDMG School on the Cash App. That is the only Cash App. There's some fake Cash Apps floating around with the school logo on it. Please stay focused. $FDMG School. That's the only Cash App. If you're on PayPal, it is FDMG Academy. So it's FDMG School for the Cash App, is FDMG Academy for PayPal. And of course, you could bring a donation with you to the Shrine of the Black Madonna Saturday or Aldi's, a Caribbean restaurant in Dallas on Sunday. Bring a check or money order. Make sure your name is on it, your address, your phone number, and your email address, because we document every donor. Everybody who's ever donated these 7 years, we have them documented. And when the school is open, Brother Andy, we're going to honor them with a certificate. We're going to give them a Black Star Line stock certificate, an honorary certificate, because they are investing in the future of African children. And the return is not compensation, it's liberation. So please donate to the school. You can also go to drumarjohnson.com and sign up for the Loyal Donors Club, which is automatic monthly deductions, $50 Bronze Club, $100 Silver Club, $250 Gold Club, $500 Platinum Club, $1,000 a month Diamond Club. Please give what you give, but if you can't sign up for the Loyal Donors Club, no problem. Please hit your Cash App as much as you can, $ FDMG School. Hit your PayPal as much as you can, FDMG Academy. And also, if you want to work at the school, send me your resume, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. I repeat, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. We are looking for math teachers, science, language, but we're also looking for Black men and women who can do natural hair, African martial arts, who know how to build greenhouses, who know how to do hydroponics, who know, who are involved in video game development and computer building. We want to teach our young men how to make video games, how to build laptops, how to build their own cell phones. We don't just want to be consumers of these goods. We want to be producers of these goods. What is going to make FDMG so unique, Brother Andy? We will be the first academy for Black children in American history that doesn't focus on helping them fit into white America, doesn't focus on getting them ready for college, doesn't focus on getting them ready for trade school or for work, but is a nation-building academy. Our goal is to make every Black boy who graduates from that academy a leader and a nation builder of African people. I want to send them across the world and build independent Black communities for our people. The liberation of African people must begin in the mind of the African child. And if it doesn't begin in the mind of the African child, it will not begin at all.
Beautiful words. I want the people to support. If you make time to donate, fake Cash Apps. What is that?
Fake Cash Apps, Brother Andy. These Negroes have started Cash Apps where they use names that are very similar. So, for example, there's a fake Cash App called FDMG Academy. There's a fake Cash App called FDMG Academy, and they have the school's picture on it. I've been trying to get in touch with the Cash App to get it taken down. So far, I haven't had any luck. So that's why people have to really stay focused when Dr. Umar is talking. It's $FDMG School. That's the only Cash App. $FDMG School. And the only PayPal is FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy or cash.me/FDMG School. But if anybody wants the correct information or if they want the flyers for Houston or Dallas, they can text my cell phone directly, 215-989-9858. I repeat, 215-989-9858. One more time, 215-989-9858. If they need to text me a question, if they want the flyer for Dallas or Houston, I will be in Miami as well on Saturday the 24th, Austin, Texas, Sunday the 25th. I will be in Louisville, Kentucky for August the 14th, Marcus Garvey 136th birthday celebration. Denver, Colorado, Friday the 13th, Marcus Garvey 136th birthday celebration. And Macon, Georgia, Sunday, August the 16th for, again, Marcus Garvey's 136th birthday celebration. So that will be a 3-day Marcus Garvey tour once I'm done my 3-city Texas tour. So we're going to do Houston, Dallas, and Austin, and then we're going to do Denver, Louisville, and Macon.
Yeah, you're going to have some fun. The people represent in all the cities that you named, especially Denver. Shout out to my folks up in Denver and Boulder, Colorado. Y'all some good folks up there, and you take care of your visitors very well. Thank you, Dr. Umar, for making time. Definitely want to appreciate you for giving your insight, giving your game, and definitely letting one of the listeners get a hold of some knowledge that you put together. Please contribute, folks. You've seen what's been going on. You've heard what's been going on. You heard from the man himself. The opportunities to ask questions came in today, and I thank you for making time. Dr. Umar, have you enjoyed yourself once again with us on the Online Happy Hour?
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. Thank you for always making time and space for me to come share with the people. Let them know I'm coming back. I hope to see all my brothers and sisters out this weekend in Houston and Dallas, Saturday and Sunday. And I'm also very much hoping to see them up at the school, to have them come to the campus and see the 4 beautiful buildings that we own, to see the potential. And I'm hoping I can motivate some Black licensed electricians and motivate some Black licensed HVACers and motivate some Black licensed plumbers to say, hey, I'm really, I'm really interested in helping. And as long as you can provide the materials, Dr. Umar, I don't mind providing some of my labor. Unfortunately, Brother Andy, we have had almost no Black tradesmen or women volunteer their time to help us get this school ready. Everybody wants money and nobody wants to give a discount.
Well, there's multiple reasons for that I won't discuss today, but want to keep good energy, man. Just keep the vibes flowing and make it feel good. D-Town, let's go on and show some love to Dr. Umar Johnson when he steps in the building and represents this coming Sunday. Be sure to come out Aldi's Caribbean Restaurant, 7879 Spring Valley Road. You know what that is on the north side of Dallas. He's going to be there live from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here, representing his new book, The Black Parent Advocate. It's going to be a community conversation and book release. Get some understanding, get this book, get this knowledge, get this game, get some photos, and tell the people what's happening. Thank you for Dr. Umar for making time for us. Thank you for the callers, the listeners, the bloggers, the texters. After all, you make the show what it is. And I want to thank you all. If you got some good game and some good insight, please do us a favor. Tell at least 5 to 10 more people to tune in with you next week as we have another wonderful discussion topic right here from 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on the Online Happy Hour. So I want to say on parting words, folks, good night to my family. Go mob to my frat. Say a prayer for your brother, your sister, your cousin, your nephew, and your niece. And please, get home safe. Thank you, good night, and Godspeed. This is the man Andy Brown right here on the Online Happy Hour, and I'm out.